Welcome back, everybody. So it is time to find the fourth Great Fairy Fountain. And if you've been following along with my walkthrough, you've got tons of rupees. I had almost 10,000 actually. I just went off and sold a few gemstones, so make sure you have at least 10,000 rupees. Because the Great Fairy Fountain number 4 is 10,000. So, just to show you where we're at, what we're doing on the map here, I like to launch from the Akkala Tower here. Now, if you don't have that tower done, just go to the South Akkala stable, head east on this roadway. When you get to the split in the road, the horse should automatically want to turn right for you. Either way, this is ultimately where we're heading. To this little lake. And that's where our Great Fairy Fountain is. But before I do that, I'm going to make a quick pit stop. There's a shrine up here on this ledge, as you can see. So we're going to knock that out first. That one is actually I think it's either a minor test of strength or a modest test of strength. I can't remember which. Either way, it's child's play for us at this point, right? Couple of Korok seeds in the area as well. And there's a couple of guys on horseback here. One of them will be a silver bobkin, so do be careful he doesn't get a lock on you, because that will hurt. And he's got a bow, and he is deadly accurate with that bow. Not only that, he likes to lob those arrows quite frequently, so he can do a lot of damage there. Okay, enough about that. Let's get our Korok seed. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and activate this travel gate. No reason to make you guys watch me do all that. I'll do that once we're done with the fairy fountain here. There's also a lot of big hardy radishes in the area, so for you big hardy radish lovers, if you're like me, take a picture of one and start searching for those on your Sheikah slate, because there's about 7-8 of them right here in this area. Not a bad deal. Not to mention all the treasure in the area. Alright, so enough about that. Let's go ahead and get this other Korok seed. And let's go ahead and use a bow for this, just to kind of speed things up here. Just like any 3-tree configuration, match your fruit. Alright, and there's that guy. Okay, so without any further ado, Fairy Fountain time. Now with any Fairy Fountain, you're going to have some goodies in the area. This one actually has a couple of luminous stones. And I'm going to stealth up just in case there's any bladed rhino beetles stuck to them, and doesn't look like I'm so lucky. But you never know, so I always check. Okay, I just haven't been having good luck with that lately. So yeah, luminous stones, luminous stones, luminous stones. There's also a couple of razor shrooms, I think they're called. It's for attack power, the mushrooms for attack power. And there's those guys. And there's another Korok seed right here at the Fairy Fountain. Looking for some yellow flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number 5 is actually up on this tree here. Kind of hard to spot if you don't know where to look. And there's that guy. So right after we get this fairy fountain, it's time for, what's it called? Terrytown. Oh yeah, if you're short on fairies, if you've only got 1 or 2 fairies in your pouch, or 0 for that matter, make sure that you disable your Mifa's Grace, because if that's enabled, it's not going to bring fairies into the game anymore. So make sure that you disable that. Just press A on the thing there. And then if you're down to 0, 1 or 2 fairies, you'll have fairies here, 4 of them flying around. So you'll want to make sure that you're stealthed up for those as well, and don't go super speeding in. Otherwise you'll scare them all off. Just walk, don't run, and you'll be able to scoop them up with ease. Okay, so with any Great Fairy Fountain, you have Endura Carrots and Silent Princess. Just gotta know where to look. And then you've got this armor math, which isn't a very good ingredient, so I just don't bother picking it up. But make sure that you have one, just in case you haven't done the Little Sister's Big Request yet. Okay, so here we are at our Great Fairy Fountain number 4. Now, if this isn't the 4th one in your game, it won't be at 10,000 rupees. You know, it'll only be 100, 500, or 1,000, depending on what order of number Great Fairy Fountain this is for you. But if it's your fourth and final, yeah, 10,000, that's quite a chunk of change there. Which is why I do my walkthrough the way I do. Everything I do in my walkthrough is for a reason. So all of the gold rupees and silver rupees and side quests we've been doing have all been for a reason. Hyrule Castle is another big money maker. Alright, so I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me upgrade every little piece of clothing, but what I will do is kind of point out what is and what isn't worth upgrading. So now, you got to keep in mind, what are you going to be going out and getting into fist fights while you're wearing? So the things that I avoid upgrading is the climbing gear. Upgrade that twice, make sure everything says 8 so that you can get that jump stamina up, because that's huge when you're on your big climbs. But don't upgrade that any further, because really you're not going to be doing any Lionel hunting in that or anything of that nature. So you really don't need the extra armor in that. I personally would stay away from the Zora armor for the same reason, folks. Once you get that up to 8, and you get that swim stamina bonus, don't go any further in that. No real reason to. What I will focus on, because when you're out in the snow areas and you're wearing your snow quill set, yes, there's times you're going to be doing Lionel hunting and stuff in that, so I would recommend continuing on with that one. Now that one's a little tough because the materials needed are a little tricky for that one, but it is worth it. Same thing with the desert set. Definitely the boots, folks. Remember early on I told you to get lots of Swift Violets. You need 30 of them, 15 per boot, and I don't have enough because I really have trying to save time in my videos and not getting every little thing I come across. But right here, right now, it's going to hurt me. But definitely take the time to do your boots, because chances are pretty good you'll be wearing boots while you're out killing stuff. So I need 15 more Swift, or about 8 more, 7 more, and Mogilligots for that. Definitely, it's personal preference if you want to keep going with your ancient set. I personally don't recommend it. You might want to do 1 or 2 pieces up to 18 just to get your defense up a little higher, but really, you don't need it. Not only that, it starts getting expensive with materials. You see star fragments there, giant ancient core and ancient cores. So, use your discretion. Maybe do a piece or 2 and get the bump up in overall defense, but really you don't need all 3 pieces all the way up. Save those materials for, like, going shopping, at the ancient tech lab and getting ancient bows and getting the ancient short sword for the weapon connoisseur, that kind of stuff. And those cost either ancient cores or giant ancient cores. So, like I said, just use your discretion on that. Alright, and then of course the bone suit I always recommend, just because that's my bread and butter for going out and going into hunt mode. So I'm definitely going to upgrade that. But again, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do it. Now, the barbarian armor, that's another one that's kind of iffy. I personally don't recommend it, and here's why. It's expensive. It takes Lionel parts. Now, if you've been following along with my walkthrough, you've got plenty of Lionel parts. But as you start getting higher and higher in that, it's going to start costing, I think, star fragments or something like that. Or dragon parts even, I can't remember what exactly. All I remember is I spent the time to upgrade that once and I didn't really use it. Now, Ancient Proficiency Bone Attack up, that's 80% attack power boost. The catch is you have to use the right weapon. So Bone Attack up, you have to have that bone weapon. Ancient Proficiency, you have to have that guardian or ancient weapon to get that 80%. That's the catch. With the barbarian armor, you can put any weapon on you want, but you only get a 50% attack power boost. So, me personally, my personal preference and my personal opinion and my recommendation is don't worry about the barbarian clothes. Get it up to 8 so you can get that charged stamina up set bonus, but don't go any higher than that. Because that is handy. I mean, if you're out with, say, a Savage Lionel Crusher, it is handy to put the barbarian armor on and have that charged stamina up, and it gives you extra time while you're spinning around, that depletes your stamina. So, just pros and cons. Use your discretion is all I'm going to say. That really boils down to your personal, the way you like to go about going on your hunts and fist fights and bar brawls and all that fun stuff. Alright folks, so that's my little spiel on the 4th Great Fairy Fountain. I hope that was helpful, and do have some fun out there with that, and happy hunting to you until the next time.